There we go. Hopefully everyone can hear me now. All right. So good morning, everyone. I'm just going to hop right into it. So for the past 7 years, I've struggled a lot with my mental health. During this time, I went through several different therapists, in and out of the hospital. I tried different meds. I was constantly falling behind in school. Couldn't listen or watch anything that wasn't sad. I slept constantly, yet always felt tired and worn down. Essentially, mental health affected everything in my life. Once I graduated high school, the first thing I did was I moved abroad to become an au pair in Germany. Though it wasn't without its bumps, it was the best decision I made. I met so many amazing people and saw the most breathtaking sights. My mind slowly got out of this mist. I had freedom and a purpose other than school. For the first time since before middle school, I felt happy and like life was worth living again. I finally realized what people meant when they said there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I'd reached it. A year abroad, however, must come to an end. I came back July of 2020, right in the middle of the lovely pandemic. While Germany obviously still had corona, it was much more contained and affected everyday life way less after about April. Being back was a bit of a struggle. This was the first time being back as an adult. I lost contact with many of my high school friends, and since I decided to wait for college, I had no way of meeting new people. This was one of the first times I was ready to enjoy life, but with no direction, no idea how to, not a lot of people to help me out, and a pandemic in the way. I had made it to this light at the end of the tunnel, but what came next? What was it all for? For 7 years, all I heard from people was that life is beautiful, it gets better, you'll make it through this, and I did. But while I was simply trying to pass my classes, my classmates were learning what type of music and movies they enjoyed. While I was trying to find the motivation to brush my teeth and my hair and clean up my room, they were trying new hobbies and finding out what they were good at. The people around me were applying for college, planning for their future, and getting ready for post high school, whereas I didn't see the purpose of planning for a future when I didn't see myself having one. I was trying so hard to survive the day, the week, the year, that I never learned how to thrive in that time. This was a feeling I'd never experienced before. I wasn't sad or anxious, and I couldn't point to something specific like school to blame for this uneasiness. I just simply wasn't happy yet. Now, this was the mindset I had when I first started writing this sermon. I was negative and lonely and a little bit angry at the world. I was starting to regret even leaving Germany at all, thinking maybe that was the only place I could really feel happy. This psalm telling me that the Lord will provide everything I needed frustrated me. So I decided I needed to break and decided to read, something I hadn't done for fun for about 3 years. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott was the first one I chose. For those of you who don't know, the story is about four March sisters living during the Civil War. Their father went to go fight for the Union, leaving only them and their mother at the house. Towards the beginning of the book, the four sisters were complaining to each other about their burdens. Things like not being able to afford lavish dresses, the lack of oranges and chameleon rings to bring to school, or the inability for women to go to university or make a life for themselves. When their mother hears them complaining, she tells them a story that can be boiled down to, if you're unable to find happiness where you are, where do you think you're going to find it? Now I had to stop and think about this for a second. I took a philosophy class, and this thinking went against exactly what Aristotle believed. He saw happiness as the end goal of life, that you cannot achieve happiness until the end of it. This mindset wasn't working, obviously. So instead of following the advice of a dead dude, I decided to give a fictional mom a chance. I tried to find things in my everyday life to bring me that happiness and content that I wanted more than anything. Things like playing with the two little girls I nanny instead of just watching them, being thankful for my boyfriend and my friends that I do have, and focus on making those friendships stronger. Dyeing my hair crazy colors like I'd always wanted to, camping, taking late night drives, discovering new music and new TV shows that made me feel happy. I reread the readings today, and the psalm that made me feel frustrated and lied to made sense. I thought about all the things I was given to help survive the worst years. In sixth grade, I got to go see my first live musical, Les Mis, what started my love for music and performing arts, a very big part of who I still am. The summer before my sophomore year, which would prove to be one of the worst mentally for me, God brought me to Good Shepherd, where I joined the youth group, where I met so many amazing people that helped me through some of the roughest moments, including my now boyfriend. I found that when you look for them, blessings are everywhere. I'm not trying to say it's bad or selfish to feel sad or angry or frustrated or lonely at times, because everyone has bad days. But I had fallen into this trap of focusing on all of the bad things in my life, all of my burdens, all of the things that God hadn't given me, that I was ignoring
Look at her hair, it's so funny.
all of the good things in my life, all of my blessings, all of the tools and people that God did give me. And it worked. My life feels more content. My days are spent more happy when I focus on the good things in everyday life. I may not be an astonishing philosopher who's dedicated my life to the meaning of it, but I disagree with Aristotle. Happiness should not be seen as something to achieve in your last breaths of life. It should be something we seek out in the now. So instead of thinking, when I get this promotion, I'll finally be happy. After I graduate college, I'll finally be happy. Or even after Corona, I'll finally be able to be happy again. I encourage you to look for what you have been blessed with and find those little joys in everyday life, even if it's just from your own living room. Amen.